Okay, welcome back to manutrackids. Today we are reacting to Luch A Drums FFM. Before I press play though, full interview with Luch coming up. Shout out to Luch for taking the time to speak to us and share some knowledge, man. The guy shared some nuggets. If you're watching and you are a producer, this interview will bless your ears. So sit back, enjoy my conversation with big boy Luch. Let's go. Back with another interview. Today we've got Luch on the line. Are you in Mexico City at the moment, bro? Where are you?
Yes, sir. Yeah, just got back home. Thank you for having me, man. Good to be on.
Of course, man. I think you are somebody that I think last year you really kind of started to make your mark in the space, and I think people now obviously know who you are. They enjoy your music. But yeah, bro, how has it been so far? I think since Titanic, did that come last year or a year before? When did that track drop?
Yeah, that was last May, I think. No, wait. When did it drop? Less than a year ago. I made it last May, so
Oh
less than
wow,
a year.
wow,
Yeah.
wow. Would you say that's the track that started things off for your Luch project, or was there one before that? I can't remember.
Oh man, I think it was the Seve rework I made. I don't know if you
Oh
remember that one.
yes, yes, of course, of course.
That one last summer, which was like, just kind of made it for fun, had it sitting on the computer and ended up sending it out, got great support, and I think that one was like the first one, and then the Tito Tire one did its thing, and I mean, again, bro, thank you for the early support on that one. I remember you made a video for it like even before it dropped and helped with the hype, so very grateful.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, listen, you're actually reminding me that I made a video. I don't even remember
It
the
was long,
videos
yeah, it
of
was long, yeah.
of tracks that I make. I've made so many videos over the years, but I mean, yeah, listen, anytime I make a video, it's authentic, and I never try and force it. And sometimes, like I say yes and then listen back to the track, and I'm like,
No,
not feeling it too much. But and it's not great, right? When you say yes and then you go back, listen, and you're not feeling it. But I mean, for most of your productions, that feeling never changes, man. So well done, bro. I think you're doing great.
thank you, brother. Yeah, it's been super fun, building out the Luch project, and I guess like the whole thesis and like catalyst for it was like I'm just gonna have complete fun and not have this like crazy strategy behind it of like, oh, this is what I'm trying to sell, and it's literally just like, oh, I think this is cool and I'm just gonna put it out, and it's like literally that simple, and it's been so much fun, man. It's been such a blessing to be able to like do it and have people like the music. It's the best, such a blessing.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I think I was in Poland actually a few weeks ago with Everseen,
Oh
and
yeah,
they
they're
said,
sick. Yeah.
yeah, man, I was with them, and they mentioned your name, and obviously talking about your production talents and how you're prolific, right, when you're producing, and so I'm saying that to say that your name is out there and people are talking, right? So you're turning heads, bro.
Thank you, brother. Baby steps, gotta
Baby steps.
I gotta keep working towards it for sure.
Absolutely. But let's talk about the Luch project. Obviously, you and I have been connecting for over a year now, so I'm familiar with what you're doing and who you are.
Of
But most
course.
people don't know that you've been doing this for some time, right, bro?
For sure. I mean, I started DJing when I was like 8 years old and producing when I was like around 12, 13. I'm 24 at the moment, so I've been doing it for a while, and I've been across like so many genres. I did Latin production for a lot of time. I did like songwriting for a bunch of artists, a little bit of everything, lo-fi here and there, jazz, like a bunch of stuff. And I guess the Luch project kind of starts around 2.5 years ago. No, like 2 years ago when I decided to drop out of college. I was studying in Mexico City, and I was like, I have this crazy opportunity to go to Miami and like produce Latin music for all these like big Latin artists at the time. And then I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna move out, go to Miami, do this thing. I get to Miami and I'm working with all these like artists, and it's great. I'm having all these sessions. I get like 5 platinum records. Like it's going really good, but I just feel like I'm just not depressed, but I just hate it. Like I'm not happy
How
whatsoever.
old were you? How old were you at this time?
21, I want to say
Okay.
21. Yeah. Obviously, it was like a big shock to my parents, but they supported it and they're like, let's go. And yeah, I mean, I just kind of noticed how I had no like creative freedom whatsoever, and I was basically just like someone's little bitch. They're just like for me to do
Yeah.
that. I didn't like it. And I was like, you know what? I never liked to be like in the spotlight and kind of do all the content, socials. Like I was never good at that, so that's why I was like kind of hesitant to have like a proper project. But then I was
Right.
like, man, if this is what it's gonna take for me to be able to like be creative and express what I actually like, then fuck it, so be it. Like let's do it. And then I did that, and man, it's been the best. I think Seve was like the big catalyst that kind of took it off, and then Tito Tite, and then a bunch of the other ones. But again, the whole premise of it was like, okay, I come from this like Latin electronic background. How can I, put my influence into this sound that I'm really into at the moment? That during COVID, I was going to all these different parties here in Mexico. And it's funny, like I feel like the club scene in Mexico, it's like so eclectic and diverse, and we have a lot of talent, a lot of people. But I mean, man, our taste is very similar to Europe's. I want to say, as far as like the niche electronic underground scene, it's very like European-esque. Like we have every weekend we have crazy talent coming here. So I kind of grew up with like not as much as like the American wave, but it was more European. So I think that was like a nice little intro, and and it was basically like, how can I mix this like Afro Latin sound with like the more melodic progressive sound and a little bit of Latin and like have fun with it. And I think that's the vibe.
Interesting, man. But I mean, during that time, was there like an episode or inspiration that pushed you towards Afro House? I don't want to even call it Afro House. I think it's not, the productions that we're seeing nowadays, right?
Of course.
Some of those you could call Afro House, some of those you could call melodic house, like
The
the
scene we're in,
genre.
kind
Yeah,
of. Yeah.
exactly. I like to call it 120 BPM, 118 to 123 ish, right? That's what I like to
Yeah.
call it. I feel like that's
For
where we
sure.
are.
For sure. For sure.
And any good DJ is able to kind of play music from in this range, right? But yeah, what caused you to enter this space and yeah, make your mark?
I mean, man, ever since I was doing like some older dance stuff or like big room or progressive or whatever it was, like, 10 years ago, I was super into like the melodic stuff, and I was never like really big into making like club records or like really aggressive like synths and stuff. It was always like the soft and slow kind of, down tempo, organic, low. I loved lo-fi too. So it was like super slow, but I was like loved house music. So I feel like this wave kind of when it started happening meshed both of them, and it was like, wow, you can finally like go out and party to something that's like soft and mellow, but still kind of has that soulful feeling, which to me was not like I had never seen that before. It was always like either super high energy or like I'm eating lunch at a restaurant and like I'm falling asleep. And I think this like soft middle ground where like it was perfect. And I think that's what kind of got me into it. And I think for the most part it was COVID, and it was just like experiencing it and going to these parties and just like loving it, and I mean, I've been a fan of Kind for the last like 10 years and been like listening to it, and the old and me and Bert, like all the cool stuff. But like I really got into it when I started like going to these parties and being like, wow, this is like, I love
Wow.
it.
And
Yeah.
was kind of music the sound that mainly they were playing at these parties, or any other
No,
artists that?
I think it was right before it kind of went crazy. Like they were definitely playing some Kind tracks, but I mean, it was just like softer, kind of slower. I guess like the old Mo Black, kind of like there was like a bunch of harmonica remixes that I really got into.
Oh yeah,
Um,
Ngeke. Yeah, yeah.
that kind of like I mean, Kind was obviously like big at the time, but it was a little bit before that. And at least to me, it was very like, I really resonated with it because I come from a Latin background and, I'm Mexican. So like the sounds and kind of like the percussion and just the grooves felt very like close to home to me. And I think there was a lot of like synergy. And that's how I really got into it.
And yeah, bro. In terms of production, where you are at the moment, obviously, when we started the call talking about your busy travel schedule and you're getting opportunities here and there, how are you keeping that efficiency high when you're producing? and balancing that with travels, bro?
Man, it's a great question, and it's something, I struggle with all the time. But at least something I've kind of learned that at first I was like, oh, for example, during COVID, I was making 2 or 3 tracks a day and just going crazy. And same last year, like 2 or 3 a day, nonstop, including weekends. It was insane. And then obviously, like as some bookings started coming in, like I had to travel a little bit more, and then like 3 days you're on a plane, and the next 2 days you're like, I can't be creative. So what I've learned, the best way to do it is kind of go through seasons to where like at least this works for me, and it's very like aggressive. But one month I'm sitting at the computer and I'm going crazy. I'm doing like 30 songs. And then next month maybe I just do 3 or 4 and they're quick little ideas. But since I've worked so crazy, I have the time to only work on music when I kind of feel like it. That works for me because I'm a really quick producer. That like if I had a superpower is that I'm just fast. And I think that's like the what I just need to take advantage. But I think it's like a mix of self awareness and knowing where you're at. I know some people are like really slow, but they can make 3 like masterpieces a month. So maybe for them it's better to like take it really easy and then kind of find the time to do it. But for me, I'm like, yo, let's go crazy for a month, and then the
Yeah,
next one, like, chill, have fun.
bro. 3 tracks a day is crazy. How does that work in practice? Is it more, you kind of have your arrangement style and you base it off that and you build, or yeah, I mean, for someone that is just getting into production and no, but
Or
seriously, to me, it's just like because I'm sure someone watching is just like, fuck, 3 tracks a day. How is he doing that? But I'm sure there's a workflow and there's a method, right?
there definitely is a method, and the method is like kind of not having a method, and I'll explain. For me, you need 3 things for a track: hook, groove, and a riff. You have those three, track's great. So I'm just trying to find those three. And it depends. Sometimes I start with the groove, sometimes I start with the riff, sometimes I start with the hook. Kind of just depends. If I find the sample I like, chord progression, kind of where it's at. Then
Yeah,
once I have those three, I kind of just know off the bat. I've just made so many tracks in my lifetime that I kind of know I'm really good at arranging, so I'm just like quick to kind of figure it out. And after there, again, like I'm really good at kind of getting like a V1, something that I can play out that's good. And then where I like lack and take a little bit more time is just sound design, nitty gritty, kind of going in and going crazy with all the specifics. I made actually a video for my YouTube channel called The Bed Theory, where I explain kind of how I'm able to make a bunch of these like super quickly. I think that's kind of helpful. But again, it's just remembering that like the big three, hook, groove, riff. You
yeah.
have those three, and you're golden.
And usually, okay, so usually you're good if you've got those three. You said hook, riff, and groove. So
Correct.
that's the trifecta.
That's a trifecta. And it
But I
sounds
guess
like super simple, but man, I like any big record in any genre is always going to have those three. And it's just kind of, I guess something that I've also learned is trying to find the. I remember when I first got into the sound, I was always trying to like the big tracks at the time, and why this feels so special. How can I like recreate it? And kind of what I learned is instead of trying to recreate, that sound or that essence, is trying to create a new one that has that makes you feel that same kind of. It's special. It has its own essence in its own way. And I'm sure, man, when you heard all these like legendary tracks for the first time and you're reacting to them, you like Amana, or like you feel this like crazy sensation, and
for
it's trying to
sure.
like replicate that, but a different sensation and not the same one. Like when you try and replicate someone else's like essence or sensation, I personally think it's impossible to like give someone
Of
else that.
course. No, you
Yeah,
can't. Because it's not yours. I think music is such a spiritual thing and personal thing,
for sure.
right? Someone creates something out of nothing, right? So how can you do that when it's not your experience? You weren't in the same mindset. It's almost impossible, right? Of course, when you hear a production and you can try and recreate it, but you're not just gonna feel what they felt when they made it, right? So it's impossible to do that. But I think it's a good way of learning how to produce and learning how to structure a track and get an idea going, right? Is to have a reference, but you're never gonna be able to recreate Rapture Part Three, you
No,
know,
no, of course.
to that
And
same.
man, I think a lot like the way to think about it, and Rick Rubin says this a lot. He has a great book, The Creative Act. Highly recommend. But basically, it's like the music kind of, musicians are translators of the muses, which are like the Greek gods of music, right? This is like the kind of the theory that as a musician, you're a translator, and the better you get at like producing or a certain, skill, you're just going to be better at translating ideas. And ideas aren't ours, they always exist. And I'm sure, bro, you're probably like, oh, I should remix this track, or I want to make this, blah, blah, blah. And then you see someone else kind of do it, and you're like, how did that happen? And it's like, if you don't execute on the idea, it's probably going to go to someone else. And when you start treating yourself kind of like a vessel and like you're the medium to where the idea kind of comes into fruition, um, it's very different because you start just like letting the music take you where it needs to, and you just start flowing, and you realize how little control you kind of have over this thing. Like you're just sitting there, and it kind of just takes you, and all you can do is just get better at your craft. Like something I did that really helped is like I know every single Ableton command by like heart. Like you could quiz me on it, and I know every single one, and it just saves me so much time. And it's just like, oh, I know I need to cut this and like put this and add another section. It's like da da da, done, and I can let the music take me where it needs to instead of like kind of being halted by these like skill, you know, like obstacles.
Man. Wow,
Yeah,
wow. That's such an advanced mindset, an advanced kind of workflow, right? Because I think a lot of people don't, they're not conscious about those little moments where you're looking for something, or you're in the doll, and then you have to go on Google to search something, and that creates a blocker, right?
of
In
course.
your thinking and in your flow, right? So that's a great point, bro. That's actually amazing. But very quickly, man, before I let you go, just wanted
Of
to
course.
to quickly chat about, obviously, you've got a high output when it comes to music production, so it's impossible to release everything.
It
So
really is.
no,
It
but
was
it must
good,
be
man.
like, I'm sure you've
Yeah.
got hundreds of finished projects, finished tracks in your hard drive. But so it's are you getting reps in? Is it more for to get the reps in and improve production, or is it more of an outlet for you, right?
Yeah, I mean, great question, man. I think for me, it's always been an outlet, and I really try and treat it like, oh, I want to have fun. I want to make the only thing I think when I'm sitting down is like, I want to make something that I'm gonna like and that's exciting to me. And I'm never thinking like, oh, who's gonna play this and what label? Like, it's do I like this and do I want to play this tomorrow? And if the answer is yes, then I love it. And as far as like, man, putting it out, it's such a mission because I'm like, yo, let's do a track a week or like let's go crazy. And then you realize that like you also kind of fuck yourself over a little bit if you don't give tracks at least a little bit of time between each other. I found that like the sweet spot is kind of like a month in between. So month, track a month I think is like the perfect sweet spot. But man, if it was up to me, I'd be doing one a week or more. But like you have to hype it up properly, like do the whole thing. So it's just I really wish I could do just share my music to the world. But I also think it's smart to like tell a story, and kind of like as the sound progresses, over the years and you kind of grow with your favorite artists. Like I think it's also cool to take your
Yeah.
time with it.
Yeah, I always had this debate with people. What's the right timing between tracks? What's the right schedule of release? But yeah, as you say, one a month, one every 2 months, one every 6 weeks. Again, you do need some time in between, but you also have some guys that release every week and every track is does well,
Banging.
right? So I don't know. I always feel like
There's no
there isn't
rules.
yeah,
That's
there's no
the
rules.
anyone can invent like their own kind of method. I've had people kind of tell me like you're crazy. Like why would you release more than 3 tracks a year? And I'm like, are you dumb? Like you share the music. Like it's for the people. So I don't
Bro,
know. Depends.
this is my first year of releasing music. I've got two out already.
Yep.
Tomorrow there's another one, and I want to do one more. But I come from a content background where I'm like, you have to post every day. So I take that
Exactly.
same energy. I take that same energy with music because I understand people's attention span. And bro, if I stop posting for a week, my
You're gone.
engagement goes down.
It's crazy.
So I literally take that same energy with releasing music now because it's like, bro, people are gonna forget about you. Also, with the algorithm on Spotify, you want to keep those numbers up, right? You want to keep the engine, that attention
Yeah.
going, and that's actually very important. So yeah, but still, bro,
I,
two,
I
three
just
tracks a day is crazy for you, bro.
I think you're probably on the same page. I think a lot of people kind of wait till a track is kind of hyped up to when they want to drop it and kind of think about it in this very like business way, which is great. Don't get me wrong, but I also think man, there's times where like I'll give you a perfect. You know the Free Your Mind remix I did for the Obvious and
Yeah.
Body Sativa.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, that one like sent. No one played it. No one wanted to like sign it.
No one.
Nothing. I was just, like put it out, and after like a year and a half, people started playing it. So it's funny how like if you like it, just throw it out. Like there's no
How's
reason
that
why.
one doing? How's that one doing?
It's good. Man, it's just so fun to play. I've been really inspired by that. Like, I mean, kind of like club what you're doing with your label is also phenomenal, and a lot of like the rap vocal with Afro, a little
Oh
Afro tech
man.
influence. Like goes crazy. My next one with Liva K, Act a Fool. I think I sent you that one, right? I
Yeah,
think.
I've got it. Yeah, I've got it. Great track. Great track.
Like, thank you. But same vibe, kind of like the rap influenced little Afro tech elements. Like, I think it's a
It's
vibe to it.
cool. I mean, listen, I love this space that we're in because I was very worried last year for some time because I was like, man, everything sounds the same. But now people are just going everywhere with it. They're taking a bit of grime. They're doing just a bunch of stuff that I'm really enjoying right now. I think what Magnifique is doing is really influencing the sound. What Abe Drums is doing with that
Yeah.
like that remix. I'm starting to see a lot
Luck.
of yeah, it's crazy, bro.
Crazy.
Yeah, I spoke to him and I told him, bro, like demos that I'm receiving are really influenced by what
But I
you're
like.
doing, right?
Yeah, I remember when we have a song coming out on Friday, and I remember when we had that first session, we kind of just like, DM'd each other. We were both in Miami, and we were like, oh, let's cook, let's have a session. And that very first day, that was the first thing we made in like 20 minutes. The song that's coming out on Magnific FFM on Friday. And I remember he was like, he's a crazy producer with like crazy Latin hits and also Major
Crazy,
Laser.
crazy, bro.
Insane. And he was like, bro, like this is what I want to do, and like he just knew exactly like the sound, and I obviously, like after he played me the like that remix, and I was like, dude, this is nuts. Like it's gonna, and that's gonna influence the whole.
No,
Yeah,
absolutely. When did you guys work on FFM actually?
it was not that long. I mean, when I met Ape for the first time, I think it was less than a year. It was definitely way less than a year ago. Maybe like 6 months, max.
Wow, wow.
Um,
And yeah, I know I said last question, but I need to know this. How is it being in the studio with another prolific, great producer? I'm sure you're used to it, but how is that dynamic when someone's really feeling inspired and I guess they take the wheel for a bit and you let them control, but how do you handle that in real life?
dude, it's such an art learning to. Because it happens, you're in a like collaborative situation, and sometimes you're like intimidated, like, oh, this guy is like legit, I'm not gonna play around, like I'm not gonna, if I'm not a crazy piano player, I'm not gonna start jamming on the synths, like I'm gonna be cautious. And I
You're
used to be
chilling,
like,
yeah.
have the opportunity to be in these rooms with like crazy producers, and then I just kind of learned that it's like, I mean, even the craziest success or as talented as they might be, or whatever it is, it all just boils down to kind of that kid instinct of like, I'm just gonna play around, have fun, and then see what happens. And that's truly when the magic happens, because you just take the ego away from it, and kind of this like businessy mindset of like, oh, I'm gonna achieve this by doing this and that, and he's gonna see how good I am, and he's gonna, like, you don't think like that. It's just like, oh, how can we do it? And honestly, it's also letting go of your ideas a little bit when you realize that, like, you're like, oh, I want to make this crazy synth line, and then you want to do it, but then the other guy's kind of on the computer, so you have to like let him do his thing, and then he does it, and then you sit back and you're like, wow, it's actually so much better, and if I would have done it, I would have killed it. So also just taking a step back and kind of letting the bro, just
No
let
egos, no egos. Yeah,
we're always going to have an ego, but it's just trying to control it and kind of like being like, shut up, like let's try and live in the moment and not think about us, and just the creation of the music.
love it, bro. Okay, FFM comes out this Friday. What's Friday? August 8th.
2 days, yes sir.
August 8th. I think it's a banger. Anything that people should know, bro, about FFM? What is it? What does it stand for, FFM?
It's a mystery. It's a mystery. I guess we'll
Okay,
take a guess. Yeah, it's a
it is
little
what it
Easter,
is.
little
Okay, there
Easter,
you have it.
the real one. You know.
Love it, bro. My guy Luch, dropping gems, dropping knowledge. Thank you for taking the time, my guy. Hopefully, have you back soon on the YouTube channel. But yeah, appreciate it, man.
Anytime, and bro, thank you for the support, what you've done for the genre, and it really means a lot to up and coming artists like myself to have a platform like you. Genuinely, man, like I mean it. Thank you.
If I had both hands free, I would clap because that conversation was that good. Shout out to Luch for taking the time. Now, on to the reaction for FFM, exclusive listen, exclusive preview to Luch and Ape Drums FFM. Let's get into it. Exclusive. Exclusive.